anyone who is curious as to what the actual outcome is going to be of the Charlie Kirk saga.
Oh, yes.
It's not really a question of whether or not you get the right answer. It's whether or not you actually believe the narrative that you've been sold. And if you believe anything that comes from this government, can't help you. James Lee is going to show you yet another example of why what you've been told happened to Charlie Kirk is anything but the truth.
Ask you a question. When was the first time you heard the name Tyler Robinson or the Losi Center, a Mauser 98? For me, and I assume many of you, it was in the days and weeks after Charlie Kirk's tragic assassination on September 10th. And you better believe I've been doing some Googling since then, right? Who is Tyler? What are the access points to the Losi Center rooftop? What kind of damage can a .30-06 caliber bullet do? But what if I told you somebody, maybe multiple somebodies, were searching those terms before September 10th? What do you think about that?
Before the shooting. Well, there's Washington, D.C.
Huh.
At 11 a.m., the day before the Charlie Kirk shooting.
Huh.
And you'll see here where the news finally broke that it was, in fact, Tyler James Robinson. But notice that. That's weird. That's weird.
That is weird, I gotta say. Why would anybody be searching the name Tyler James Robinson one day before he allegedly assassinated Charlie Kirk?
And in Washington, D.C., no less.
Because he's a patsy. He was a patsy the second they said that he did it. He was a patsy the second they started to question it. He's a patsy now, and he's probably going to be a dead patsy in the not too distant future, depending on where this ends up going.
Yeah.
I didn't need anybody to tell me.
No. It's just more evidence. And again, I've said it from the beginning. My opinion on this is that I know for a fact that what they're saying is not true. That's the only thing I know for sure, is that what they're saying is not true. Everything else is just more and more evidence as to what it could be. But we know what they're selling us is bullshit.
We knew from the very beginning.
Oh,
this is bullshit.
Completely.
As soon as they said that they had a person, it was bullshit. Because in the early stages, when everything is kind of scattered, scrambling, kind of like I pointed out with what happened with Andrew Colvett and his lookalike Cooper Brown, who jumped in front of the camera when one of the witnesses to the assassination started talking about what was happening, and they shut him up and dragged him away from the camera, physically dragged him away from it. And then you find out that there was a private jet that took off from an abandoned airport, from an empty airport in which they had grounded all flights out of Salt Lake City. And in the meantime, this jet was able to take off.
Well, let it keep playing, because that's the thing. It's more than just looking up Tyler Robinson, right? James goes deeper than that.
100%. Here we go.
The data point is just a tiny blip, but it's there. Tyler James Robinson, right? A name that nobody knew of prior to September 12th, 2 days after the shooting, when the media told us who Tyler James Robinson was, right? A supposed 22-year-old leftist who hated Charlie Kirk. So what does that little Google trend blip mean? Well, I did some research using Google Gemini, and they say Google Trends, what it does is normalize search interest to the region you select. The formula is search interest equals total searches in the region and time divided by total searches for the term. So when you look at things from a nationwide context, the total number of searches is enormous. The small handful of searches for Tyler James Robinson on September 9th is so tiny, a fraction of all the US searches, that it gets rounded down to zero. But then when you zoom in a DC context, if you filter for the District of Columbia, the total search volume is much, much smaller. So if a few searches for Tyler James Robinson on September 9th originated in the DC area, then this handful of searches becomes a significant enough proportion of all DC searches on that day to register a value of 18 out of 100. Then it says, and this part is critical, quote, the fact that the searches are localized to DC, a city synonymous with the federal government, intelligence, national media, and political organizations, strongly shifts the interpretation away from random noise or perpetrator checking his own name from an ambiguous anomaly into a strong potential signal of pre-event institutional knowledge or activity.
Fascinating.
It's not fascinating. It's exactly what we anticipated that it was going to be. You know, we have become so accustomed to seeing things happen before anybody necessarily realizes it that by the time they do, it's like we're telling them, well, we told you so. We told you this was what it was going to be.
We knew it was bullshit. But so is this clip is just him talking about the search for the name, right?
That's right.
Okay, so guys, go to 5149 with James Lee and watch the clip that he did, because there's actually 3 other searches. There were 4 searches in total that are all extremely suspicious.
Just the fact,
first was the name, but yeah.
And just the fact that the information that we are receiving is coming directly, not just from him, but the fact that what he had found is that it came directly from a very small blip in the search engine out of DC. And where the fuck do you think it was coming from? It was coming from the NSA and the CIA. That's how this works. We live in an era today where 60 years ago, you can assassinate the president of the United States and sweep it under the rug. You can sweep the 2 leading black voices in the United States and convince people that patsies did it. And then you can assassinate the president's brother, who almost assuredly would have won the presidency in 68 if he was the nominee, and he was going to be the nominee. But that's history. Today, you can't get away with it.
Can I show you? Can we bring back? I want to bring this back for a second and just say something. Can someone explain to me how his ear is completely non-scarred, non-scathed? There's nothing. And I even saw somebody do a close-up of it. I'm just curious for a friend.
Well, who's just to say that he didn't have some type of a graft done, which is possible? I mean, it's
bullshit. Bullshit.
Okay.
I called bullshit. I called bullshit then for that false flag that was staged as the photo op that it was. There have been way too many clips of that after the fact that it was always, that was a total bullshit thing. And isn't it interesting that we've never spoken again about the guy? Like it's never even come up again. Like it just sort of went away as soon as the photo op was done. No, there is no way that that ear was shot. That's just stupid. Sorry, don't buy it. I didn't buy it then, and I definitely buy it less now. So there you go.
I'm not, okay. Well, again, I don't know what to think. I am suspicious as well, but I don't know.
All I'm saying is that is not somebody who was shot in the ear. I've met more people from when my kid did jujitsu that had cauliflower ear. That shit doesn't go away easily. When you get ear shit with the cartilage, that stuff does not heal easily, and it doesn't look like that. It just doesn't. So bullshit.
Got one more clip from James. So here we go.
Show you a set of coincidences for you to ponder, but for my safety and your safety, please do not come to any conclusions. Deal? Cool. This is Tyler James
why are
Robinson,
you playing it again?
the alleged shooter of Charlie Kirk, who
why are
a
you
lot of us now know
This is
by
another
name.
clip.
According to Google Trends, somebody, maybe multiple, in the DC metro area was searching for Tyler James Robinson one day before the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Okay, you see this big spike over here. That's on September 12th. That's when we all found out through the news who he was and started Googling his name. But this small spike on September 9th, that's kind of weird, don't you think? Now, what about the Losi Center, the building where Tyler Robinson allegedly shot Charlie Kirk from? Well, again, for some reason, a small number of people in the Washington, D.C. area was Googling Losi Center 2 days prior to Charlie Kirk's assassination, September 8th, 2025. What is that?
Whoa.
You've got to be, I mean,
You didn't see this part,
No,
right? That's what I was telling you. There's 4 searches that are very unusual.
I mean, you got to be shitting me.
No. So that's why it's not just the kid's name. Keep going. That's what I was trying to tell you.
That all about? Once again, this is when we all heard about it, and some group of people over here 2 days prior was, just having fun Googling Losi Center. Now, what about a Mauser 98? You've heard of that? Well, evidently there was pretty much no interest in the Mauser 98 until August 27th, when somebody, once again, in DC was like, I am curious about the Mauser 98. Once again, to reiterate, these are all just coincidences. And since this information has gone viral, people are now reporting that all of that data has now been scrubbed. And so this is what it looks like now. Nothing to see here.
The fourth thing was the
Israel.
Google search. What?
It was Israel, right?
No, the fourth search that was part of what he had done, I saw something about, was about the plane, that plane that had taken off. That people were talking about. That was the fourth search, that there was an anomaly as to it had to do with the company that owned that plane. There was some other very strange search having to do with that before.
Well, I think what some people in the chat are saying, because Jimmy Dore covered it the other day, the same story, and is basically saying that there is a direct connection to Israel with this story. And
all roads lead that's the end road for sure. Absolutely.
And it always will be. So again, there's nothing to see here except your lying eyes. So don't fall for it. It is our job. Oh, so Jimmy did the video today. And that's
again, what I mean. It's just there's, one search maybe is a coincidence, right? Four? That's, that's just not a coincidence.